This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Baruch Haba. We continue in Mishna Berura, Daf HaShavua. We are up to Siman Chaf Hey. We're up to Siman Chaf Hey. And we're up to Siman Chaf Hey. Seif Tes. Asur lahafsik bedibur bein tefillah shel yad letefillah shel rosh. It is prohibited to interrupt with speech between the tefillin of the hand and the tefillin of the head. V'im hifsik, if you interrupted, mevarech al shel rosh al mitzvahs tefillin. If you interrupted, then you should make a bracha on the shel rosh al mitzvahs tefillin. So this is the shita of the Mechaber. The Mechaber holds normally you don't make a bracha on the Shel Rosh, but if you're normally you make one bracha lahaniach on the Shel Yad and it covers the Shel Rosh. But if you're mafsik between the Shel Yad and the Shel Rosh, then you make a bracha of al mitzvahs tefillin on the Shel Rosh. Says Rama Hago l'didan denagin levarach shtei brachas afim lo hifsik. For us, that our custom is to make two blessings even if we don't interrupt. Tzarich lachzor ulevarech al Shel Rosh lehaniach v'gam al mitzvahs. You have to go back and make two brachos on the Shel Rosh. You're going to make lahaniach and you're going to make a al mitzvahs tefillin. Okay. The says the Mishna Berura sivkatan chavches also lahafsik. Afilu b'dibur shel mitzvah, even a speech which is a mitzvah. Kagoyin lahashiv shalom l'Rabbi. Let's say you want to respond a greeting to your Rabbi, v'chol kahai gavna, or any similar scenario. The reason why it's asur, ki goyrem bracha she'ena tzricha. It causes a blessing for naught. Meaning you'll say, I'll answer, and then I'll say al mitzvahs tefillin on the Shel Rosh, or according to the Rama, two brachas. No, you're causing a bracha she'ena tzricha. Well, what about those people who put tefillin on a chalamayid without a bracha? So maybe for them, they could answer a response of a mitzvah because it's not causing a bracha, because they're not making a bracha. Or those who put on Rabbeinu Tam tefillin after they remove the Rashi tefillin. Or someone who took off tefillin with the intent to put it on again, that the Ramah's psak in Sif Yud Beis is they don't have to make another bracha. The Ramah b'Sif Yud Beis pasak the ein tzarich lachzor levarach kishemenichan achar kach. Afilu hachi, nevertheless, avera hi lahasiach beineim. It's an avera to talk in between. Why? Delechatchila ba'inan sheyiu smuchin utkufin zelazeh. Lechatchila, you need them to be juxtaposed and adjacent to each other. T'chsiv v'haya lecha le'ois al yadcha u'zikaroin beineinecha. It should be for you as a sign on your hand and as a remembrance between the eyes. Sheyehei havaya achas l'shtein. That it should be one seamless motion, one act, so to speak, for both of them.
You're on mute now.
You want to have one seamless act for both of them. So therefore, even if you're not making a bracha, but you want to be in a situation where it's one seamless act for both of them. Okay. The Mishna Berura continues. B'dibur v'afilu b'lashon kodesh. Even in Hebrew, don't say that it's in Hebrew. It's not a hefsek. Lashon kodesh is also a hefsek. L'chadchila it's prohibited to interrupt even with silence if it's a silence of duration. Even if you did not divert your mind. Even to make a motion with your eyes. You want a motion to the gabai. Look, turn around, look who's here. or I need an aliyah, or velikroitz b'esva oisav, or to motion with your fingers, ben aton shel ben aton shel rosh, gam kein yesh lizar chachila. Chachila, you should be careful not even to motion with your eyes or your fingers. What about kissing the tefillin between the Ton Shel Yad and Ton Shel Rosh? The Shulchan Aruch says later on, Siman Chav Ches, of Gimel, the Dirshu quotes, the minhag is to kiss tefillin when you put it on. The Nimukei Arachaim says, since it's a mitzvah, it's not a hefsek. The Grois Moshe writes that even though kissing it, the tefillin, is not a chelek of the mitzvah, it's mistaber that you're allowed to kiss it, because it doesn't take any time, and it's not considered a hefsek. And in my humble take on this is, how does this consistent with what Rabbi Moshe said that you shouldn't kiss your tzitzis? Why would it be that tzitzis, kissing the tzitzis, Rabbi Moshe said is a hefsek, and kissing the tefillin is not? Okay, the Mishna Berura continues. Im hiniach tefillin shel yad b'vayis zeh u'tefillin shel rosh b'vayis acher. If you put on the shel yad in one house and the tefillin shel rosh in a different house, v'hayadaita is that you had this in zin, you had this in mind. Ayin le'el b'simin ches. If you give a Mishna Berura sham le'inyan talis v'uadin le'inyanenu, that the halicha itself is not a hefsek, but you have to make another bracha because of shinoi makayim. The Mishna Berura brought in the name of the Chai Adam to be choshesh for the shitas that hold shinoi makayim is not a hefsek, and that seems to be how we paskin. Now, ve'im hifsek, if you interrupted, afilu b'shoigeg, even by mistake, so the Mechaber says you have to make a al mitzvah tefillin on the shel rosh. But we, who our custom is to always make an al mitzvah tefillin on the shel rosh, the Rama said that if you're mafsik, you need to make 2 brachos on the shel rosh. Says the Mishna Berura, ki atam shanu avarchin shtei brachos al tefillin. What is the rationale here that we're going to make 2 brachos on the shel rosh if one is mafsik? Says Mishna Berura, the reason that we're mavarich 2 brachos on the tefillin and it's not enough with the bracha of lahaniach is sha'anu soivrim, we hold the ikar tikkun brachas elo kachai. So this is how they enacted the blessings originally. Betchilas hanachasam tikkunu levarach lahaniach. In the beginning of the placement, you make lahaniach v'koi nami al shel rosh. It's also going on the shel rosh. Ukshemeniach ha-shel rosh. When you put on the shel rosh, umahad and you tighten it, mevarich nami al mitzvahs. You also make an al mitzvahs shezuhi gemar ha-mitzvah, because the al mitzvahs is the completion of the mitzvah. The rationale of making al mitzvahs tefillin is you make lahaniach when you begin to put it on, and you make an al mitzvahs when you complete it. Hilkach, therefore, mamela imsach, if you talked, v'yisiach daita, and you diverted your mind, tzarach lachsa ulevarach gam lahaniach. You have to go back and also make lahaniach al shel rosh, because in our take on it, the lahaniach is going on the shel rosh, and the al mitzvahs is going on the completion of the mitzvah of putting on the shel rosh. In other words, in our take on it, the way the Ashkenazim view it, is we make one bracha in the beginning for both Shel Yad and Shel Rosh, and then when we complete the mitzvah, we make an al mitzvah tefillin. So now, if somebody did not make a lahaniach, or if they spoke out between lahaniach and wearing the Shel Rosh, they're going to have to make 2 brachos on the Shel Rosh. One lahaniach for the Shel Rosh, and one is al mitzvahs. Masha'en came in the shita of the Mechaber. It's not really clear why you would not have to make a lahaniach if you spoke out. The Mechaber would concede that lahaniach is going on the shel rosh. So it's interesting that the Mechaber would say if you speak out, you only make al mitzvahs. Why don't you only make lahaniach? I mean, lahaniach usually covers the shel rosh. So now if you speak out, you should also make lahaniach. But our shita is that if you speak out, you're going to have to make 2 brachos on the shel rosh. Lachsar ulavarich. Says the Mishna Berura, "V'nachoin sheyamashmesh az b'shal yad." It is correct to feel the shal yad, lahaziza mimakaymai, to sort of move it from its place, v'chazek hakesh, and strengthen the knot. This way, when you're making lahaniach, it's not only going on the shal rosh, but it's going on the shal yad as well. V'zeh tachser berachos lahaniach gam al shal yad, v'doime kilo einiach ata ha-shal yad. It will be as if you now placed on the shal yad, v'shaveh shal rosh, and the shal rosh to kufin zelazah. V'im beirach b'lei mishmash, if you made the bracha without moving it, then yemashmesh achar bracha. Then move it after the bracha. V'ayim b'ber halacha mashu kasavnu b'shem hagoyin Rabbi Kiva Eger b'zeh. Look in the ber halacha what I bring in the name of Rabbi Kiva Eger. Let's see the ber halacha. The ber halacha, the bottom ber halacha says, look in the Mishna Berura that I bring in the name of Rabbi Kiva Eger. Well, all the achroinim say that if you spoke out and you're making lahaniach on the shal rosh, you should be yemashmesh in the shal yad. But then Rabbi Kiva Eger says that if you made the bracha without being yemashmesh the shal yad, you should be yemashmesh after the bracha. Says the bir halacha, v'dad hagoyin Rabbi Kiva Eger masik b'chidushav tebesach yivarech tchila al shal rosh al mitzvahs. V'acher kach yemashmesh b'shal yad v'chazek hakesh yivarech laniach. Uvazeh yetze yedei shitas Rashi v'Rabbeinu Tam. Rabbi Kiva Eger's opinion is if you spoke out, first you make an al mitzvahs, then you're yemashmesh, and then you make lohaniach. However, that is not the conclusion of the Mishna Berura. Doesn't sound like it. It sounds like first you make lohaniach, and you should be yemashmesh, and then you make al. And if you were not yemashmesh when you made lohaniach, you could still be yemashmesh after the bracha. Okay, Rabbi Sai, we're going to hold it over here. I just want to mention one thing that we spoke at yesterday. I don't know if everybody heard it. This is an extremely important halacha that I think many people are nichshal in, and that is, we know that after saying the al mitzvahs, the minhag is to say Baruch Shem Kvod Malchusay Le'olam Va'ed. You do not want to say the Baruch Shem prematurely before the tefillin is completely fastened on your head. If you do say the Baruch Shem before the tefillin is completely fastened on your head, then you are not yotzei with the mitzvah of the bracha of al mitzvahs tefillin, and you have to make the bracha al mitzvahs tefillin again. If it's 90% fastened, you still need to make the bracha again. You cannot say Baruch Shem unless it is 100% fastened. This is brought out. He says in Sifkatan Chaf Aleph in the Mishna Berura, where he says, Yizoher ma'oid shaloi loymar baruch shem rak acher sheyahadek im loyken yehevzim baruch v'yarbach zu levatala bevadai v'tzarch la'aseh levarech va'olam nechshalom bazeh. So I just want to point that out. Okay, kol tov everyone. Have a great day. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be up and running. Be well.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.